Hi again guys, and welcome to the first episode of a brand new series. Now this is going to be a very short series, only about 4 episodes for the moment, and the reason for that will become pretty self-explanatory through this episode. Now we may continue the series based on other cars that are added or other cars on future GranTurismo games, but for now there are only 4 cars which I genuinely felt had to be included here. Now this series is based on the fact that over the course of all of my reviews, people have every so often said, you were kind of negative in this review. You said that this car wasn't good for something, or that this car in general wasn't that great. I want to hear more of that. And that kind of surprises me, that people want to hear more of my negative reviews, because I always try to be positive. I believe that every car is good for something, and that goes for real life as well. Even a car which people would commonly say is rubbish, for instance, or useless or ugly, it's still a car. So by definition it's useful, even if you don't like it. So to say that a car is bad is a very strong statement to make as far as I'm concerned. Which is why the cars in this series, I am not saying that they're bad. This series can be considered as the anti-dark. Because dark, of course, or does anyone really care, is highlighting cars which are underappreciated that you should try. This is the anti-version of this, the polar opposite. This is B.O.A.T. This is you are better off avoiding these. Not because they're bad cars, you're just better off avoiding them because there are, quite simply, based on pure facts, not my opinions, better alternatives. Now we're starting the series, as you can see, with a car which, as a class overall, I've been quite vocal about in the past. The chrome line Audi R8 V10. Now I haven't been particularly vocal about this car on its own, I just don't like chrome lines in general, and many of you guys know that because I've mentioned it on numerous occasions. I don't personally like the stealth models either, but that being said, the stealth models to me are more legitimate. I can understand the appeal. Having a matte black Audi R10 with more torque or a matte black Mazda 787B is cool. I can understand why people would want that. The chrome lines, on the other hand, they're just a blatant excuse for padding out the number of cars that Polyphony can claim are in the game. There is no decent reason for them to be here. The only reason why you should buy this car is if you either like having chrome stripes on your car, which is pretty niche, but I'm sure some people do, or just for the sake of owning every car in the game. That's, to be honest, the only reason why I own them, and also to make tunes for them for people who want them. Apart from that, I wouldn't have bought them. I couldn't care less about the chrome models because they are a bad deal, pure and simple. But let's consider why, because I'm sure there are people who would disagree with this, because that's the nature of the internet. But let's talk facts, because this isn't about my opinion, this is unarguable fact territory. So to do that, we're comparing it to the normal R8 V10. How do they compare? Both cars in fully tuned form. What do you get for the money? Well, for a start, the normal R8 is 30 grand cheaper, just under 200 grand compared to just under 230 grand for the chrome. Okay, that's not looking good so far, but hopefully it offers something better. They both have 5.2 litre turbo V10s and all-wheel drive, of course. They both put out 1,141 horsepower, but for some inexplicable reason, the chrome does so at 100 RPM less. Big deal. Now the chrome does put out 10 foot-pounds of torque more, and that's to be noted. You know, good for you. But 10 foot-pounds at the 700 pound-feet level isn't exactly noticeable. Then compound that with the fact that the regular R8 has a higher maximum PP, 673. The chrome is 662. Why is it so much lower? Well, you could consider having that much power at a lower PP to be a good thing. I've often said that that is the case. But why is the PP lower? Well, this kind of tells you why. It weighs over 60 kilos more. The regular R8 V10 weighs 1,297 kilos, which isn't amazing, but for an all-wheel drive car it's okay. This car weighs 1,358, and that is just not impressive for a super sports and bordering on supercar. The normal R8 V10 puts out 880 horsepower per tonne. This car puts out 840. That is a lot less. So far, the normal R8 V10 is cheaper, has a higher PP, has the same power, has a fractional amount less torque, but it's not even noticeable, weighs significantly less, and puts out far more horsepower per tonne. What about speed and handling, though? Can the Chrome redeem itself? No, quite frankly, because the top speed, and this really is the nail in the Chrome line's coffin, is for no apparent reason. It doesn't have a flat floor, it doesn't have a rear wing. It's 35 miles per hour slower. For no good reason. And there are people who are going to say, oh, I can get my Chrome over 300. Of course you can, using NOS or draft, but on its own it only does around 260 compared to almost 300 under its own power from the normal R8 V10. 295 at least, and I know people who can get it to cruise at more. So 35 or more miles per hour slower is just not acceptable. The acceleration is also slower because it's heavier. And around the track, the extra weight means that the Chrome is inferior as well. So unless you want a car that's just worse in pretty much every way, avoid the Chrome line. But that's it for this first episode. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, thanks for watching.